What is up, YouTube? Welcome back. It's Ginger Hoops, and today I'm going to be continuing on my bracket series. I'm going to try to get the best bracket I possibly can. And here we are for 2023. The 2023 bracket is a lot of good teams in here, a lot of good picks. Besides the Rutgers probably should have made it over some teams in here. But let's get straight into it. But to start off with the South and work their way to the Final Four, and then we'll move on to the rest. So all the South will be done in this part, or the next part. Get it? So Alabama will either be playing Texas A&M Corpus Christi or Southeast Missouri. I think that Southeast Missouri will beat Texas A&M Corpus Christi in the first four, but then Alabama, you got to go with them. They're just, one seed over 16 seed. Just don't pick a 16 seed in your brackets. It's just better that way. Next, we have Maryland and West Virginia. Not very high on Maryland. I don't know. They just got that tingy feeling to me that they're not going to do well. In West Virginia, they're in a good Big 12 conference, and they actually did pretty well, actually. Next up, we have, I forgot to mention, West Virginia will be playing Alabama in the second round. Now, next up, we have San Diego State and College of Charleston. College of Charleston, of course, with a 31-3 record, a little bit better shooting percentage. They had a lot of close games, though. That South Dakota State game, or no, yeah, pretty sure. A lot of close games for him, but I'm still gonna go with College of Charleston. Calm down. Next up, we have the 4 versus 13 seed. Virginia is the 4 seed playing 13 seed of Furman. Furman, I watched their tournament championship game versus Chattanooga. Furman is a really good team that they can really make well. And that is 2 upsets back-to-back. You have College of Charleston upsetting San Diego State, and you have Furman upsetting Virginia. But Virginia, they're just kind of frauds. Every year when they get a high seed, they don't do amazing. So next up in the South region, we'll be having Creighton playing North Carolina State or NC State. And Creighton, they have had a lot of experience in this March Madness. They know what they're doing. And they're just overall better than NC State, a team that I think should have made the first 4. And just overall not the best spot for if you want to be NC State playing Creighton. So I will have Creighton winning that game. And then next up, we have 3-seeded Baylor playing 14-seeded UCSB. And Baylor, they've struggled in their tournament, and they've struggled more down the road, but I think that they'll get the job done and beat UCSB. Next up, we have Missouri and Utah State. Missouri, once again, they're kind of frauds. They don't do amazing in their tournament. A lot of close games in their tournament as well. And Utah State, they're a good team. And overall, they're better, and they have a little bit more experience, 1 year more, over the past 6 years or 5 years. Arizona versus Princeton is the 2 versus 15 seed. Arizona, the 2 seed. Princeton, the 15 seed. Now, Arizona will win that. But Princeton, I think maybe could have made the first 4 as a 16 seed. And then Yale could have came in and be the 15 seed to beat Arizona or keep it close to Arizona. Because Yale is a team that would keep it close with Arizona. So next up here, we'll be looking at the South second round. And first up, we will have Alabama playing West Virginia. This game will be scrappy and all that. And it will be awful from the tip for both teams to rivalry. And Alabama with the win there. Alabama will be moving on to the Sweet 16 playing Vermont as they beat College of Charleston by a miraculous buzzer beater. That's what I'm calling it. The second round buzzer beater. And then next up we have 6-seeded Creighton playing 3-seeded Baylor. Oh, my bad. 1-seeded Alabama will be playing 13-seeded Furman in the Sweet 16. So now we're getting back to 6-seeded Creighton playing 3-seeded Baylor. And this is a close game. It will be scrappy. It will be rough. But I'm going Creighton. Baylor, they have struggled against some good teams down the stretch. And Creighton, I'm saying they will win, upsetting Baylor in the second round. Next up, we have Utah State and Arizona. And I'm going Arizona there. They beat Utah State. Arizona, they're just overall the better team. And they just, got everything more than Utah State does. So now we're in the Sweet 16. And we have 1-seeded Alabama playing 13-seeded Vermont. And Alabama will win that game, heading to the Elite Eight, playing Arizona in the Elite Eight. So here we are in the South Championship game between 1-seeded Alabama and 2-seeded Arizona. Going to the Final Four from the South region will be Alabama. Alabama will be winning the South region of the 2023 March Madness tournament. So they are headed to the Final Four in Houston. Next up, we will be taking the East region. So here we go. So in the first, we have Purdue either playing Texas Southern or Fairleigh Dickinson. I think Fairleigh Dickinson will beat Texas Southern in the first 4, but then Purdue will obviously blow Fairleigh Dickinson out. Then Memphis and FAU. Horrible 8 versus 9 matchup. Memphis getting kind of disrespected there. I don't know how FAU is a 9 seed though. They are more of a 14 seed to me. But Memphis will beat FAU and move on because that they close win their tournament. They're close to teams in their tournament, and that Houston win really helped. So next up we have Duke and Oral Roberts. And you see the big upsets in the tournament. Many people are going to be picking Oral Roberts, and I'm going to be following them. Oral Roberts, they've got some big tall people. I can't remember any of their names. But, yeah. And they will get the job done over Duke. Next, we have Tennessee and Louisiana. And Tennessee will be winning that one by at least 15 or more points there. Next, we have Kentucky and Providence. And Providence will come in and upset Kentucky. Providence, they had the run last year, and I think they can have it again, as it will start with their win. So obviously Providence moving on to the second round. Kansas State and Montana State for the Kansas State 3 seed and the Montana State 14 seed. Kansas State at least gonna win by not 30, probably around like 20. Montana State, they were not the best conference, and every year they make this tournament, it just does not end well at all. Next, we have Michigan State and USC. And I'm going Michigan State there. And the USC, I don't really watch a lot of USC basketball, but I look at some of the numbers, and I just don't see it for USC. Michigan State just overall better. Next up, we have 2-seeded Marquette playing 15-seeded Vermont. That is quite the handle there for Vermont. They're playing 2-seeded Marquette, and Marquette will move on. Vermont, they have a good shooting team every year, but they just don't seem to get the spot they want to. They don't seem to get that 10 seed or that 11 seed that they want every year. Next up, in the second round of the East region, we have 1-seeded Purdue playing 8-seeded Memphis. And Purdue will win that game right there. So, next up, we have 12-seeded Oral Roberts playing 4-seeded Tennessee. And another Cinderella story for Oral Roberts is happening in 2023 as 12-seeded Oral Roberts will beat 4-seeded Tennessee in an overtime thriller. And then they will go on to play 1-seeded Purdue in the Sweet 16. Providence, the 11 seed, is playing Kansas State, the 3 seed. And Kansas State will win that game off of some clutch free throws and clutch shots that need to go in. Next, we have Michigan State and Marquette. Marquette will be scrappy from the beginning. Michigan State will keep on trying to claw back, but Marquette will eventually win. So now we have in the Sweet 16, 1-seeded Purdue playing 12-seeded Oral Roberts. Oral Roberts' run ends in the Sweet 16, and just like last year. Not last year, 2 years ago in 2021, ends off of a missed jumper buzzer beater. There's only 0.7 left, and he tried to shoot, missed it. That's my prediction for that game. So I'll try to predict some buzzer beaters here. Kansas State and Marquette. This will be the battle of the East region. This will be an amazing back and forth pace. But Kansas State will pull away in the end of the game. We'll be playing 1-seeded Purdue in the Elite Eight. So here we are in the East Championship, or the Elite Eight. Purdue versus Kansas State. And going to the Final Four from the East region will be Kansas State. They have a lot of good players on their team, and you see it. Purdue, good team, but every year I just don't really see making it. Besides last year, they had a really good team last year. I just really see them every year making the Elite Eight, but not the Final Four. So now we move on to the Midwest region. Next up, we have Houston versus Northern Kentucky. 1-seeded Houston versus 16-seeded Northern Kentucky. And everyone might overpick on Northern Kentucky because of the injury. But he will be fully healthy by Thursday. And Houston, even without him, would still beat Northern Kentucky. Number 1 team in college basketball. You cannot not pick them. Next, we have 8-seeded Iowa playing 9-seeded Auburn. This is a tough one because Iowa, they started doing well at the beginning of the year, but they have really struggled in their tournament, and at the end of the year, they're kind of like Baylor right now. They have these weird losses to Nebraska and to Iowa State. They don't have a good defense. Fran McCaffrey, what is going on there? All that, I'm going to pick Auburn, actually. They have a better team, a better squad. What's going on right now in the pace of basketball. Next up, we have 5-seeded Miami versus 12-seeded Drake. And many people coming in here probably don't know Drake. Drake's the Bulldogs from the Missouri Valley who won their conference game by more than 30 points. Or was it 30? I think it's actually on the dot of 30 points. That is insane. Drake won their conference championship game by 30 points. And they are playing a good Miami team out of a not so great ACC. But another one bites the dust. And another 5-seed knocked out in the first round. None of the 5 seeds have won it. All 12 seeds are really good this year. Drake will be moving on versus Miami. Next, we have Indiana and Kent State. I was wanting to pick Kent State for more upset time, but Indiana, they will win that one. So, You'll have 1-seeded Houston playing 9-seeded Auburn, and then you'll have 12-seeded Drake playing 4-seeded Indiana in the second round. Next up, we have 6-seeded Iowa State playing either 11-seeded Mississippi State or Pittsburgh. They will be playing Pittsburgh, and then they will proceed to beat Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh will win their first 4 games versus Mississippi State, but they will lose to Iowa State. Next up, we have Xavier and Kennesaw State. I hope I'm saying that correct. Anyway, Xavier, they're going to win that game pretty easily there. Next up, we have Texas A&M playing Penn State, and I will pick Penn State as an upset over Texas A&M. Penn State, they are kind of, that weird team sometimes, but they get the job done. And 2-seeded Texas playing 15-seeded Colgate. Colgate, they get disrespected every year in this tournament, and Texas, they just beat Colgate overall. They're a better team. And we are in the second round of the Midwest region. 1-seeded Houston playing 9-seeded Auburn. Houston will win that one. And playing Houston, either 12-seeded Drake or 4-seeded Indiana, will be 4-seeded Indiana. Drake's run ends in the second round there. And Houston will be playing Indiana in the Sweet 16. Next up, we have Iowa State playing Xavier. Iowa State doing well. They were doing really well in their conference. Making it really far in their conference. And they go to Big 12 conference. The Big 12 is actually pretty stacked for basketball. And that's why I'm going to be picking Iowa State to move on to the Sweet 16. And then they will be playing Texas in the Sweet 16. So we have 1-seeded Houston playing 4-seeded Indiana here in the Sweet 16. I will be picking 1-seeded Houston to win that game. Then we have 6-seeded Iowa State playing 2-seeded Texas. And Texas will win that game. 1-seeded Houston playing 2-seeded Texas in the Midwest Championship game. Who will go to the Final Four? Houston. Houston, you see everything they have. He will be fully healthy, sure. But when they're in the Elite Eight in their championship game. And Houston will be moving on to the Final Four in Houston. So we already have settled one side of the Final Four. Kansas State and Alabama will be playing. But who will Houston be playing? Let's find out in this West region. First up, we have 1-seeded Kansas playing 16-seeded Howard. And I am going to go with Howard. No, I'm just kidding. Kansas will win that game pretty easily. So, yeah, Kansas will be moving on. That was just a joke. 1-seeded Kansas is moving on. Arkansas playing Illinois. This, once again, that 9 seed should not be a 9 seed. Illinois should not be a 9 seed. They should be booted back more. Arkansas will win that game. Playing Kansas in the second round. Next we have St. Mary's and VCU. Many people will be disagreeing with me here. All 5 seeds, bye-bye in the first round. VCU with the win. Oh, wow, this is an amazing turn of events. All the 5 seeds getting knocked out in the first round. How about that for some March magic there? Then we have 4-seeded UConn playing 13-seeded Iona. 4-seeded UConn will win that game over Iona. Next up, we have 6-seeded TCU playing Arizona State or Nevada. And Nevada will be beating Arizona State in the first 4, but then TCU will proceed to beat Nevada. Next we have Gonzaga and GCU or Grand Canyon. Gonzaga will be beating Grand Canyon by at least, 20 points, maybe around there. And then we have 7-seeded Northwestern playing 10-seeded Boise State. Northwestern is complete frauds. They're just not going to win this. Boise State will get their first ever tournament win in 2023. No, they will get their first March Madness tournament win in this year of 2023. Next, we have 2-seeded UCLA playing 15-seeded. I'm pretty sure it's UNC Asheville. And I am going to go with a UCLA, obviously there, obvious pick. Here we are in the second round of the West region. 1-seeded Kansas playing 8-seeded Arkansas. 1-seeded Kansas will win that, and they will proceed to play VCU. How about them? How about those Rams? They will be taking on Kansas in the Sweet 16. TCU playing Gonzaga, and Gonzaga will win that one. They're beating 6-seeded TCU. And then UCLA will be beating Boise State for a rematch in the Sweet 16 from 2021 of Gonzaga versus UCLA. That will be amazing to watch. And in the Sweet 16, we have 1-seeded Kansas playing 12-seeded VCU. And VCU's run ends as Kansas moves on to the Elite Eight. Gonzaga versus UCLA. UCLA will not get their revenge, and Gonzaga will beat UCLA in the Sweet 16. Here we are in the West Championship game between Kansas and Gonzaga, or Gonzaga, however you call them. I call them Gonzaga. And then Gonzaga with the win over Kansas. So our Final Four in Houston is Alabama, Kansas State, Houston, and Gonzaga. Here we go. On April 1st, of this Saturday, Alabama versus Kansas State. 1-seeded Alabama playing 3-seeded Kansas State. Going to the championship game will be Alabama. They will be taking on Houston. Whoa! Off of a clutch buzzer beater overtime layup from Houston to beat Gonzaga. Both 3 seeds are gone. Here we are in the championship in Houston. Championship, was it Sunday or Monday? No, it's Monday. Championship Monday is here. Here we go. And your 2023 bracket winner, or your 2023 college basketball champion, will be the Alabama Crimson Tide. Whoa. That is probably what most people did not expect. They probably thought I was going to pick Houston. No. Alabama, with the championship crown to their name, will be winning 77-76 off of a clutch. You probably can't see that. It's pretty bright. But off of a clutch buzzer beater mid-range. And that is my 2023 bracket. I do think Alabama will win. Thank you for watching. Remember, like and subscribe. Please try to hit 4K by 2024. And next time, I will see you in March.